Hi, this is Asa, and welcome to my audio experience. What are you struggling with? Let's talk about it. Your health, your life. Remember, if the body can get sick, it can also get well. Lifestyle is the medicine. So the choices we make today will determine the kind of health we're going to have tomorrow. So it really matters what you do. Your choices every single day, they matter. And don't let anyone tell you, oh, it's no big deal. Oh, just go ahead and eat a little bit more. Oh, just don't worry about exercise. Oh, come hang out with us. You don't need to go take your walk. Just come drink another beer, right? So we get around these social situations. As a matter of fact, the number one thing I hear from people is the social pressure of why they don't do what they do. Now, just so you know, that's just another excuse, okay? Whatever you come up with, it's an excuse. So nobody controls your world and your life more than you. And when it comes down to your health, it's all choices. So, there's some genetics, sure, but it's not like 90% genetic. It's about 10% for most cases. Okay. There's some genetic variants, obviously, that are very strong, but for most things, it comes down to that. Now, one of the issues to look at, and it's really important, is the consistency of your choices. So I always teach a 90-10 principle. 90-10 principle is that if you make good choices, as I always say, eat well 90% of the time. Means you make good choices, you eat the right things, drink the right things, make good choices on exercise, all of that, then you'll do pretty well. Matter of fact, you'll do very well. Your body can handle a couple of days of missed workouts. Your body can handle about 3 to 4 meals a week of some junk food. So you want to eat some wings, go for it. Eat some pizza, go for it. Whatever it is, your body can handle that in a really good way. So as long as you stick to that rule and not do it the other way, then you'll actually do really well long term. Now, you can obviously get away with more of that when you're under the age of about 40. And there's this magical thing that happens. Now, I don't want you to get in your head that like bad things happen after 40, because they don't. And if you're over 40, you're like, oh, yeah, they do. No, they don't. That's what everybody told you. And then you believe the story, and then that became your story. Got it? So it's all about what you do. So yeah, you've got more flexibility genetically and just with time under 40. But I know plenty of 50, 60, 70s that could crush anybody in their 30s, health-wise, stamina-wise, and athletic-wise. So it just comes down to choices. It's kind of like my rant right now. Choices are everything. And the cool thing about the body is that, by the way, this is Asa Rx. Go to asarx.com. We're here for you each and every day, no matter what. And I'm just really on this place right now where I want to talk to you about making the right choices, because it really comes down to that. And I don't care. The cool thing about the body is this thing about hope. And hope is just the most powerful medicine that we have. The way God made the body, it still blows me away. When I was in medical school, blew me away. The more I learned about it, blew me away. Because the reality is that it doesn't matter if you're 9 or 90. The body has this unique ability to, old cells die off every 90 to 120 days. Doesn't matter how old you are. It's not like the body says, well, you're 80 now. We're going to kick it up to about every 6 months. We'll dump out the old cells. Nope. Every 90 to 120 days, your cell cycles. It means it dies and new cells form. So you got this always unique ability to have hope. Isn't that cool? So if you've been eating junk food, smoking, and not exercising, right? You think, man, I've just been doing this for so long. Might as well just keep on doing it. Or you think, well, my grandmother had diabetes. Mom had diabetes. I guess, I'm next in line. I might as well keep eating my donuts. That's not true. They had the same option that you do right now, but they didn't take it, or they didn't know about it. And one of the great things you can do about it is make good choices. So why don't you start today? Why don't you mark on your calendar, on your phone or whatever. Why don't you mark down that today's a brand new day? How about marking down that today you're going to be in a place where you can mark out that 90 to 120 days, right? 3 to 4 months, you can start to have a brand new body. The brand new body starts today, but the effects of that will start showing up in the next 90 to 120 days. It's not a long time. We put people on plans in our coaching system, in our clinic. And by the way, if you need help with that, you just go to our website, go to asarx.com. We've got providers all over the country that can help you, that believe just like we do. We can put you on all kinds of great routines that'll get you out from where you are and get you into the next level. But we all the time talk to people that are struggling. And, one of the biggest things I hear is it's too late. That's like one of the biggest, I guess, doubts that we hear from people or concerns is that it's too late. It's not too late. It's never too late. That's the cool thing. I just had a lady that celebrated a lady the other day, 87. She'd been on 4 or 5 medications for about 20 years. And doctor said, you're going to be on these medications forever, right? And in our coaching system, our coaches went through our protocols and our plans, and it's nothing. It's all evidence-based. It's not this woo-woo medicine. It's just nutrition, good lifestyle choices. Everything we do is evidence-based. I'm huge on that. And so if it's in the literature, it's been double-blind tested, whatever, then we follow those principles. And it's pretty awesome. So after a period of time, and it wasn't that long, she came off all the medicine. We didn't take her off. Her body took her off. Like, for example, blood pressure. People say, can I come off my medicine? Here's what you need to talk to your doctor about. Okay, so here, let me just give you this. When your body gets to a point, this comes down to choices. When your body gets to a point where, for blood pressure, for example, let's say your blood pressure is running like 140 over 90, which is high, right? And you take medicine and it brings it down to 120 over 80, which is good. And let's say you really start making better lifestyle choices. Remember, 90 to 120 days. Don't expect massive changes before that. You start making really good changes. And let's say with the medicine, because you don't ever want to stop taking your medicine unless your doctor tells you, right? Like, I'm big on that. What will happen is what happened to this lady. She's following, just making better lifestyle choices. She's really dialed in her nutrition. She's got serious about it. And all of a sudden, her blood pressure is running like 100 over 50. And she's like exhausted, tired, can't even hardly get out of the chair. And she thinks something's wrong. She's like, oh my goodness, now I've swung the other way. My body's absolutely just, I'm falling apart. I'm 87. Oh, I'm about to go home to see Jesus, right? She's doing the whole thing, right? And I was talking to my team. I'm like, look, no, guys, you need to have her. That's where she needs to call her doctor. And, our medical director, the whole team, everybody's laughing because what happened is her body didn't need the medicine anymore, but the medicine was so strong, it was shoving, her body's blood pressure was regulating on its own. And the medicine was pushing her down so far that it was making it too low, which couldn't even function. So guess what? She goes to see her primary care family doctor, right? And he's blown away, number one. He's blown away, and he realizes that she's 87. And what 87-year young person doesn't need their medicine, right? So he takes her off all her medications. Her blood pressure is running normal. Cholesterol levels are running normal. She's ecstatic. Her husband's ecstatic. Kids are ecstatic. And frankly, I'm ecstatic because of her, because she stepped up. She whined at first, didn't like it at first, but now she's really living her full potential at 87. Come on, girl. 87. It's never, ever too late. Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to asarx.com and get your free book today.
To find out more, connect with On Call Radio online at InShapeNetwork.com.
Welcome back to the show, 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Check us out on the web. Go to asarx.com. This is the Asa Rx Experience. And our podcast, if you go to asarx.com on the website, you can catch our podcast. We're on all of them, iTunes and Spotify, any of your outlets, iHeart, all of them. You can go there, Pandora. If you go there and type in Asa Rx, you can subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. And it's every single day. So a lot of people are saying, hey, man, I listen to your show at night and I'm here, I'm driving and I can't catch all of it or it gets staticky or whatever. Listen, this is the best way to get the show. I'm telling you right now. Go subscribe to our podcast on your favorite deal. And it's about a 36-minute podcast, okay? Cuts out all the commercials. Well, for the most part, there's a couple little ones in there, but they're short. But go subscribe to it. It's the best way to catch the show. I'm telling you, it's crystal clear. No matter if you're AM, FM. I mean, it's a good way to get your daily dose of what we got going on and get encouraged, learn something along the way, and get your push from the day. Your health coach push, as I like to say, because that's what we do. We're here to coach you. I mean, that's the bottom line. Give you the help you need and the push that you need. I mean, that's the bottom line. So we were talking about really choices, and choices are really everything when it comes to our health. And just like this lady I was talking about who's 87, came off all her medications, she's thriving. She's not just surviving anymore. I mean, that's amazing. And we hear those stories every single day. We hear that. People losing weight, people feeling better, people, they're going through our clinic. And our clinic is a teaching clinic. Okay, so we teach you how to get better. We teach you how to live better. We're all about teaching. So we help you, push you, coach you, give you the tools that you need. You know, it's not traditional. We don't just give like some prescription and then you take your medicine and hope for the best. That's not what this is. We educate. That's the whole deal. So I encourage you, if you haven't got with one of our providers at our clinic, you should do that. Get with them and see the difference that it'll make in your life in every way, because your choices have to change and you can't do it alone. I mean, I didn't go play football in high school and in college and all that and just on my own. Like I didn't learn to be a physician by just winging it through some textbooks. And you wouldn't want that either, right? I had teachers, which are really coaches, and we all have to have that. Kids need what do kids need more than anything? Parents. Why? To instruct, to teach, to guide, to coach. What do we do with our kids? We coach our kids. Everybody needs a coach. I don't care what age you are. And if you're not where you want to be, you need a coach. If your health's not where it wants to be, your primary care physician is not your coach, by the way. So like if your only relationship of your health is going to your primary care doctor once a year and getting some blood work like that, you have nobody coaching your health. That means you're reading a blog every now and then, listening to this show and winging it, as I call it. You're crossing your fingers and hoping it all works out. You can't do that. You've got to have somebody that this is what they do. Somebody's got to be in your corner. Somebody's got to be the one carrying the mantle for you, pushing you, to teach you, to get you to grow. You've got to learn, but you need somebody that understands all that information, and that's what we do. Our whole team is a team of health coaches. That's what we do. We're providers and doctors that will walk alongside you, push you, give you the tools that you need, teach you. I've got ongoing teachings that I do every week outside of this radio show for our select group and our premium group and people that are our clients and patients of ours. We've got a select community that we do deep dives with, and that's what I do, is I'll pour into you, and you can interact with me a lot easier than it is here on the show. And you get more direct access, and in our community, which is so amazing. You're getting around like-minded people that are just pushing, just like you. They want to grow. They want to get better. That you share ideas, you share recipes, you share thoughts and little tricks that have worked for you. And then you see Sally and Bill and Joe and John, and you see them all doing the same things you're doing, losing 30 pounds, where, struggling to get up in the morning to work out. And you do too. And you can kind of connect with them, and you guys can push each other. And it's just amazing. This whole digital world is amazing. It's connected all of us. So I encourage you to be a part of that and to look into it, because our team wants to help you in every way possible. And I just want to be there in every way. That's why we love radio every single day. That's why we're here for you every day, is we want to push you and really see you do better in every area of your life. 888-283-7272. You're listening to Asa Rx. Go to asarx.com. We're here for you each and every day. Let's get on the phone and go with Sally. Hi, Sally.
I'm calling for my daughter who's trying to quit smoking. And I had heard a show that had done, and he had recommended nicotinic acid. I would like to know the dose on that. And also, how can someone prevent sugar cravings or fat cravings? I had also heard information on that, but I can't find my notes anywhere. So maybe I need help with my memory. Okay, that's my question. Thank you.
That's so funny. Yeah. No, your memory, I'm sure, is great, but I'll tell you this. For memory, it's low acetylcholine, and choline is found in egg yolks abundantly. And, one of the best little tricks for memory all the way around is eating about 3 whole eggs every day. It'll make a big difference. Matter of fact, if you eat them at night, you'll notice that you, like before you go to bed or in the evening, you'll notice that you dream a lot more. And it's because it cranks up the choline in the brain. That's what that does, and that's why that impacts that. But, going back to the smoking, nicotinic acid has been widely known, and the dosage is different for everybody, because it can create quite a bit of flushing in the skin. So you'll have to kind of play around with that and get some. I would get some personalized coaching with that, and you can just go to our office and get help. Just reach out to them. Just go to asarx.com. But nicotinic acid is really good. It mimics nicotine, and so when somebody has that addiction in the receptor sites, it will be the same. It connects to the receptor site just like nicotine does. That's why it's so great. Now, sugar and fat cravings, that's a whole different deal. You have to do a full reset eating plan to get rid of things like yeast, fungal issues, candida. You got to get rid of histamine out of the gut. There's a whole protocol for that. That's not just take a supplement. That is an eating routine that a coach will need to put you on. We'll be right back. Are you ready to chow? It's time for Keto Chow. When it comes to eating healthy, the keto diet has become one of the nutrition leaders in optimizing health, losing unwanted weight, and reaching your health and wellness goals. No extravagant cooking, no long kitchen cleanup, and most importantly, especially for me, it's convenient. Just put quality Keto Chow powder in a bottle, add some heavy whipping cream or your favorite fat, a little water, and boom, shake it up and you're ready to chow. Keto Chow tastes amazing. So make Keto Chow easy for you and your family today with Keto Chow. Let's go chow. Visit Keto Chow online at ketochow.xyz. That's ketochow.xyz.
To find out more, visit the show online, InShapeNetwork.com.
Welcome back to the show, 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. I'm Asa. You're listening to Asa Rx right here each and every day. To encourage you, to help you, to equip you to go to the next level with your health and with your life. And we have Mary in Frankfort, Illinois. It says, what is the best way to get your calcium? Man, that's a great question because so many people think calcium is so vital, and especially if you're a female and you're in that age range where osteoporosis, or even the stage before that, osteopenia, where the bones start getting soft, is a concern because every doctor says take your calcium, right? So it's like, okay, I got to take my calcium pill, 1,000 milligram tablet, whatever. And there's mixed reviews on that. There's different thoughts on whether you should take calcium or not, because there's an issue with potential calcification of the arteries if you get too much. And then if you don't have enough vitamin D, which is very common, vitamin D is one of the number one deficiencies that we see next to magnesium. If you have not enough vitamin D, then you're going to have calcium issues because the body can't use the calcium that it does have. And then if you get enough vitamin D, then you can use the calcium that you're getting out of your foods and whatnot. Then if you have too much vitamin D, like too high, that can be an issue too. So there's a sweet spot with vitamin D that we have to look at. But calcium, don't think calcium supplement, okay? I don't think I've ever supplemented with a calcium supplement ever. Matter of fact, I always try to. I'm real big on supplements not having calcium in it to avoid that, because you really only need a certain amount of calcium, and you can get it from food. Now, obviously, we've been told our whole lives that milk does the body good, right? So the dairy industry has told us that get your calcium from milk, drink your milk, have your glass of milk, strong bones, strong teeth. And it's true, there is calcium in there for sure. But the protein, the milk protein, the casein protein that is in milk can be a little bit hard to digest for some people. So you have to be careful with that. And there's an issue that can arise from that. So you've got to be a little bit cautious. Now, the other thing, I like to get calcium from your vegetables. Matter of fact, you could put together a glass of milk versus a glass of real kale juice. I know you're thinking, man, I'll take the milk any day. But the kale juice is actually pretty good. It's one of my favorites. But the calcium, the rich, usable, absorbable calcium that's in that glass of kale juice versus that glass of milk, it's almost double the kale juice. And it's a usable form of calcium that tends to, because the calcium in the milk would go into your body, and because there's usually digestive issues with milk and the proteins, your absorption rate for the calcium is not going to be as much as it would be with, say, the kale juice. So eating kale, spinach, arugula salads, you don't have to juice it. You can, literally eat a huge salad. So those are kind of things that can make a big difference with getting the calcium levels that you need, right? So I'd rather get it out of food if I can than have to supplement it. The only time I like to do supplements on that is if I really need it, right? Like vitamin D, after the age of like 45, you don't really even get vitamin D from the sun through your skin. So like that day's kind of over, right? If you're over that age. So going out and baking in the sun all day, thinking you're going to get high vitamin D, that's crazy. Number one, you're wrecking your skin. I mean, wrecking it. The wrinkle, the damage you're going to get from your skin is a nightmare. Don't do that. And when you can supplement, see, that's where a quality vitamin D3 supplement with vitamin K2 that's organic and a whole food base, that's where that comes in a great way and makes sense. So I would look at that. You'll get your vitamin D levels checked. Remember, blood test done every 4 to 6 months, always. Look at calcium levels, look at your vitamin D levels, and make sure that everything's in check. Vitamin D should always run between about 60 and 80 on a blood test. You never want it to get to lower than that. But the calcium I like to get from vegetables. It's my favorite. It's my go-to. It's what we teach, the whole deal. All right. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. You're listening to Asa Rx. Go to asarx.com. Now, what about going vegan? Can it help with your arthritis? I want to talk about that in just a minute. But first, I want to get on the phone and talk to Barb. Hi, Barb.
Hi. I just found out that I have anemia, and I've got my numbers for my blood work, but I was wanting to know what I should be taking besides just iron pills. That's what they prescribed for me right now.
The thing is with anemia, it's a tricky one because, yeah, everybody goes straight for the iron, but it could be not just iron, it could be B12, right? But then if it's an iron issue, sometimes it's not even the iron. Now we're getting into the chicken or the egg kind of thing. Because here's the reality of it. There's a thing called ferritin that nobody ever checks in the blood test. It's so common, basic test, costs nothing, but nobody looks at it, right? So ferritin is like the storage tank for iron. Most of the time, people have normal iron, and if you check their ferritin, it's like rock bottom. And what does that mean? It means that you've got plenty of iron you're getting in your blood, okay? Like you're getting it from food, it's there, the cells, they see it. But ferritin is what takes it out of the blood, puts it into the cell, so it can be used. If your ferritin's low, you can't do that. So that's where the issue is. So we got to figure out a way for you to really see that and have somebody analyze that. That's what needs to happen. Because again, you could just take iron and you could just take B12 supplements and cross your fingers and hope for the best. And that's what we call blind nutrition. And that's what most people do, by the way. The doctors don't really care, unless it's like you've got to get a transfusion, you're so anemic. They're not going to take the time to do that. Most docs aren't. They just don't have the time, right? So I would do some further testing. Either go back and ask your doctor, or get some more testing, get in touch with our coaches. That's where we can do a deeper dive with nutritional lab testing and see kind of what those levels are and figure out exactly which one to dial in. Because even with B12, you've got different versions of B12. And then you got to figure out if you're MTHFR, which you've got a methylation issue, which is causing you from not being able to use any B12. So you could take B12 but not even be able to use it because you've got a genetic variant. See? And so there's a whole process to that. That's a whole issue within itself on the nutritional side that has to be figured out. So you're going to have more info to be able to know what is happening there. But our coaches can help you easily figure that out. Our providers, we can easily do that. Okay. So just let us know. Go to asarx.com if you need to reach out to us. All right. So we're talking about going vegan and can it help arthritis? So I really like, the more I've studied it, the more I see it, and I'll keep saying this. I'm going to say this from here on out because until the research changes, there's only There's only one diet for the two major conditions that we have in this world that kill people. Okay. So there's all these diets, right? And I've written a book and I've got an anti-inflammatory diet in my book. So I'm that guy, right? But I believe mine is extremely balanced, and I believe it's more clinical than any of them because many of them are fads. They are. And I will say this, all diets work for a period of time, but it takes someone to manage that. You got to check lab numbers and you got to be able to flex with it and give the body what it needs. But there's only one diet that's ever been proven to eliminate or reverse disease. That's it. One diet, not several. I'm talking one. That's it. In like double-blind studies. Now, everybody makes claims, and we did a university test here on a rat, and we found this, and then they'll write it up. That's a study. That's not a real study, okay? That's not like medical peer review that's respected in the medical community. And you may not care about that, and that's cool. But everything I like to do is evidence-based. I'm a physician myself, and out of respect in that field, out of respect of that craft, we all go by the research. It's the safest, best way for people to follow certain information that we know will work. And so there's only one diet. If you have a clogged artery and you have heart disease, there's only one diet that has been shown to like clean that artery out and reverse it. and that's a vegetarian diet. And if you have cancer, every cancer specialist around the world, for the most part, agrees that if somebody gets cancer, the best diet for them to be on is to come off all meat and go vegetarian. Okay? So if that's the way we go when you get these conditions, it's like you eat however you want, and then you get these conditions like cancer or like a 97% blockage, right? And you're facing a stent. And then we go, well, okay, let's do the vegetarian thing, right? My question is, why do we wait that long? Like, that's my question to myself. Because I've eaten meat for a long time, my whole life. Even while I've been doing this. And I do believe that meat has its place. I do. I'm not a no, like, teetotaler kind of person. But I do eat now about 90% at least vegetarian. We call it pescatarian because I do eat fish and eggs no matter what. I think those proteins are vital. People argue with me on that in the vegetarian world. They're like, oh my goodness, and they'll show me all kinds of things. But fish and eggs, I mean, they're extremely important. But I want to continue this conversation because going vegan and vegetarian has been shown to help arthritis as well. So beyond, heart disease and cancer, I want to talk about the arthritis component when we come back. Did you know that you can listen to the Asa Rx audio experience on Spotify and Pandora? For all the ways to watch and listen, check out our show page at asarx.com/experience.
Connect with On Call Radio and watch On Call TV at InShapeNetwork.com.
Welcome back to the show, 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Lines are open with questions about your health. Give us a call or go to the website. Go to asarx.com. That's asarx.com. We're here for you each and every day. Remember, if the body can get sick, it can also get well. Lifestyle is the medicine. So the choices we make every single day can and will determine the kind of health we're going to have. So your choices matter. We're talking about eating plans and diets and which way we should go and what direction we should go, all of that. And I was getting into this whole vegetarian thing that's happening right now. If you haven't seen a documentary called Game Changers on Netflix, go see it. I want to encourage you to go see it. Great work. And rarely do I praise some of those docufilms on health. This one's really good. I'll go check it out. So it's called Game Changers. Go watch it. It was produced by Arnold Schwarzenegger. A lot of respect for him, especially coming from a guy that's accomplished so much, number one, in different areas of life, but also just a guy that has gone through phases of nutrition, his own health issues from being a bodybuilder, and learned so much and shares that wisdom and knowledge through this documentary. Like, it's Arnold, through other people and through scientists and researchers and medical doctors and PhDs and all these people. But it's like, if you've ever had a 70-year-old say, what would I tell my 20-year-old self if I had the chance? Like if I could tell my 20-year-old self some wisdom about what I've learned, what would I tell them? And that's basically what this thing is. It's pretty amazing. So I would check it out. I think it'll encourage you. It'll really make some light of the whole vegan, vegetarian lifestyle and what it does to our bodies. And it's a game changer. It was a game changer for me because it put some things together that we've been researching here on our team for quite some time, and some of the studies and pieces that I've been working on even in some of the next book projects and what we do clinically to work with people and coach others. It's made some transitions for that because it brought some thought light into it. So, by the way, go to the website, go to asarx.com, and you can see some links and things for that there. But I think it's showing right now on Netflix if you have it. If you don't have an account, go borrow somebody's. I'm kidding. Not really. You can. Do you know a lot of people can share? Just get the login. All right, so let's talk about vegetarian, veganism. All right, everybody let's get this weird vibe. The new term for this thing, by the way, is plant-based eating or plant-based diet. It sounds a little bit more friendly. But the reality is this, okay? You're eating more plant-based food. You're cutting out the meats for the most part. You're getting your protein sources from like chickpeas, and peas are really good protein sources, by the way. Like, it's complete protein. Peas are really good. And then, some add fish and eggs, some don't. It just depends. The reality is most of your foods, though, are plant-based. So they're coming from plants, right? So vegetables, sweet potatoes, all those kind of things are really where you're getting the bulk of that from. But they're finding that along with, because it's always been heart disease and cancer have been the big focus on that. But now they're learning that arthritis is really being touched by being on a vegetarian diet. They've done research now, let's see, in Orlando, Florida. Matter of fact, Central Florida, Pegasus Health. There's a rheumatologist there that's been doing studies on this and getting published about how arthritis can be treated by doing a vegetarian diet. Okay. So number one, they say if you want to test this out, it usually takes about 4 to 6 weeks to notice anything. So don't do it for 3 days and say it's not working. Okay. But one of the things you can do, they said, take it slow. Let's just replace like maybe one meat meal a day with just all vegetables, which is fair. That's a good way to do it. I like that. But increase your fruits and veggies. So the goal is about total of 8 to 10 servings a day, greens and cruciferous veggies like broccoli, cabbage. And then you want to boost your nutrients and fiber. So you can improve your with like gluten-free whole grains, brown rice bread. You can use a lot of the gluten-free type breads. Now, people on vegan or vegetarian diets are at a greater risk of calcium unless you're eating a lot of greens. Some people don't do a lot of greens, but they should. Vitamin D and B12. Okay, so you can add those supplementation in if you're just going to go straight vegetarian or vegan. But what they found is that this type of diet really cut down on rheumatoid arthritis and osteoarthritis. Now, there's a difference between those two, if you don't know. So rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune condition. So that's where that is genetic, okay? And it's where the immune system thinks something's wrong with your joints or whatever. So it'll come in and it'll just start attacking the elbow or your hands or your shoulder, and because it thinks something's wrong with it. So that's rheumatoid arthritis. That's where you get those deformities. You see people with their hands and the joints get all deformed. That's what that is. So that plays a big role in it. And rarely do you see a diet that will affect an autoimmune condition, but this one does. See, there's another reason. It's like, what diet do you eat if you have cancer? Vegetarian. What diet do you eat if you have heart disease? Vegetarian. Okay. What diet do you eat if you have arthritis? Well, vegetarian. So what is that? Do you see a common theme? And again, with brain issues along the way, you've got to get the gut health right. And there's proteins that come in meats now that are really important for brain and brain chemistry. So there's benefits, but that's where the fish and the eggs can come in. Those are two really clean protein sources that you can merge with a vegetarian diet. They call it pescatarian. That is a really good way to go. Now, if you have a really good clean piece of meat every now and then, like bison or elk or just some kind of grass-fed beef, is that going to hurt you? No. It's what you do every day. You get that? It's the choices you make every single day that are going to determine your overall health. That is the ultimate key. Give us a call, 888-283-7272. If you're looking for a provider in your area, hey, we've got a whole team that can help you, to coach you, to get to the next level, just like I'm talking about right here, to go to the next level with your health and with your life. Hey, we're here for you each and every day. That's what I love so much about our team and about our show. Puts another hour in the charts. I want to thank our producer, Lyle Valentine, also John Garrison, Derek Allen, and the rest of the team. Go tell one person something you learned on this show. Together, we can transform the health of our friends, our families, and our communities. You're listening to Asa Rx, the show that helps you reach.
Did you know you could listen to the Asa Rx audio experience on Spotify and Pandora? For all the ways to watch and listen, check out our show page at asarx.com/experience.
Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to asarx.com and get your free book today.
This episode is over, but check episode notes for links to products and services you've heard about on this episode. Thanks for listening and subscribing. Please share the Asa Rx audio experience with others and stay in touch by giving us your comment or review.
Hi, this is Asa, and welcome to my audio experience. Catch our show and replays of the show there. Easy to stay connected with us. That's what we want you to be able to do, is to stay connected, to be able to hear great information to help you and empower you and equip you with your health and with your life. That's what it's all about. Now, marriage is a big deal, okay? So marriage is one of the, obviously there's different thoughts behind it, but we know it's one of the most sacred unions that we have. And now they're talking about, we hear a lot about being married, staying married, how it lengthens your life. There's another reason to get hitched and stay hitched, they say. Research suggests that being single during midlife appears to raise the risk of premature death. So the finding applies specifically to American men and women who've already entered their 40s, and when the likelihood for continuing to live a ripe old age is high. However, investigators say marital status appears to significantly affect the odds, with those entering midlife single facing more than twice the risk of dying early than those who are part of a permanent partnership. Study lead author Eileen Sigler, who's a professor of medical psychology at the Department of Psychiatry at Duke University Medical Center, said the authors noted that Americans who reach the age of 40 can look forward to an average overall life expectancy of roughly about 83 years. And they said that a team out to assess how marital status might impact the figure by analyzing data collected by UNC Alumni Heart Study, which included more than about 4,800 men and women. They looked at this, of course, the different races and whatnot. But they said the influence of other behavioral factors like educational and professional attainments, smoking and alcohol histories, and exercise habits, they all weighed in on this. And it was really interesting because they suggested chronic loneliness could be one key element, among others, driving the mortality boost, which is a phenomenon they said would be increasingly important to get a handle as the population ages. So as a clinician, of course, there's a physician in this, Marky Blumler is a professor, but also as a clinician, said this helps me realize that when I'm working with baby boomers as couples or individuals, I need to make sure they have a good social network or a social support around them. If they're lonely, if they're by themselves, they're not around family, that makes a big difference, because it's going to make a big difference about your layout for the patient care and also for your outcomes. Because if you got somebody on 3 or 4 medications and they're all by themselves and they don't have a good social network like a church or a club or something that they have quite a few friends in, that makes a big difference for longevity. And no matter what your age, I mean, if you're 40 or 80, it makes a big difference. But the closeness of marriage, they say, and the trust that's built really does make a difference. That's why you see so many people that will lose a spouse, and then soon thereafter, the other spouse just goes downhill. It's because when you've been married for 60, 70 years, those people that have walked through marriages like that, it really just creates a massive impact on that couple together. 888-283-7272. You're listening to On Call Radio. Give us a call. You want to ask a question, you don't want it to be on the air, you want to ask in private, you can still call the number, and of course they'll write it down and give it to me, and I'll make it part of the show as well. So just know that we're here for you. We'll help you any way that we can. That's what we're here for. Each and every day, we want to help you, encourage you, equip you, and give you the tools that you need. If you're looking for a lifestyle provider, someone in your area that believes the same way we do, all this nutrition and lifestyle-based care we talk about, just go to the website. You can find the information there and get you the help that you need. Let's go to the phones and talk to Dave. Hi, Dave.
Hello, hi. Yes, I'm calling about my cholesterol levels being high, my bad, and I was wondering if there's something that I could take naturally to lower my bad cholesterol, because the doctor has me on Crestor at 10 milligrams, and it's not doing me, I think, any justice. I'm feeling some pain in the upper chest.
Well, if the pain in the upper chest, one of the things you got to look at, and this is key, and this is something that you definitely want to take a look at more than anything. I would get testing done, no doubt about it, because it could be something so simple. I mean, really, it could be something very simple. It could be a deficiency of some kind, but it also could be something more serious. So I would definitely get it checked out again, maybe get a second opinion, and just have some of the basic testing done. EKG, they'll do some basics. And then get a good overall viewpoint of what's really happening, and then you can build a game plan from there. That is really what needs to be the main focus. Now, your eating habits, you want to make sure that you cut down a lot of the inflammatory conditions and inflammatory areas of the body. So a good anti-inflammatory diet is important. So you want to think about equal amounts of lean protein sources like chicken, fish, beef, or eggs, low glycemic carbohydrates in the form of fruits and vegetables, and then good healthy fats, your almonds, walnuts, cashews, avocados. Those kind of foods really can impact and make a difference to take you really to the next level with your health. And something like that with cholesterol, remember, cholesterol is not a bad thing. We get really kind of freaked out over cholesterol. It's not as bad as we think. Okay, the LDL cholesterol, that's the low density lipoproteins, that's the one that we have to be a little bit concerned about if it gets too elevated and you don't have enough HDL. So just to keep your mind wrapped around cholesterol, to understand it, We need cholesterol, which is made from fat. We need that to make our hormones work effectively. It makes a lot of the different cells and properties that we have in the body work efficiently. If the body shoots out from the liver, so the liver sends out the LDL cholesterol, okay, and it goes and does its job, and then the HDL cholesterol is sent out to go get rid of the LDL. Now, if you have a ton of LDL, not enough HDL, that's when it sticks around literally in the arteries and can start building up plaquing. And that's where the concern is. But the cholesterol in general is not bad. It's kind of like you want to make sure you have a high number on the HDL so you have a good, strong vacuum cleaner versus a dust buster. That's how I always recommend people understand that. If you understand that, then you get your HDL up, LDL comes down, and then you're doing great. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. You're listening to On Call Radio right here on the InShape Network. Are you ready to chow? It's time for Keto Chow. When it comes to eating healthy, the keto diet has become one of the nutrition leaders in optimizing health, losing unwanted weight, and reaching your health and wellness goals. No extravagant cooking, no long kitchen cleanup, and most importantly, especially for me, it's convenient. Just put quality Keto Chow powder in a bottle, add some heavy whipping cream or your favorite fat, a little water, and boom, shake it up and you're ready to chow. Keto Chow tastes amazing. So make Keto Chow easy for you and your family today with Keto Chow. Let's go chow. Visit Keto Chow online at ketochow.xyz. That's ketochow.xyz.
To find out more, visit the show online, InShapeNetwork.com.
You go to InShapeNetwork.com. We're here for you each and every day to take you from where you are in your current state of health to where you need to be. It's about thriving. It's about making it. And it's really about taking yourself to the next level. Remember, if the body can get sick, it can also get well. It's about lifestyle. So our choices really do matter. Food's important. I talk about it a lot. If you ever hear me talk about it, I talk about it a lot. Because food's our best medicine. And I really believe that, of course, outside of the toxins in the environment and our choices, just our basic choices, whether to exercise or not, or our mental thoughts and the way we handle things, if we don't have our lifestyle choices right, then our life's not going to be right. But our foods, they matter. Our body takes the foods that we eat every single day and either makes good cells or bad cells. And so our choices are going to determine that so many different ways. So we're talking about salmon today, which I talk about often, but I want to get into some details about it. It's really the best source, in my opinion. Okay, and a lot of the research will say it's one of the best sources, definitely the best fish of the omega-3 fatty acids. So the omega-3 fats are something we just don't get in our diet. We just don't get it, but we need it. I mean, it's so important for heart health, for hormone health, for stabilizing blood sugar levels, for brain health. I mean, it's just amazing at what it does and how important it is and how we just can't live without it. So the amounts of EPA and DHA contained in salmon are pretty unusual and very, very high compared to other forms of fish. There are a lot of cardiovascular benefits that we look at. So the intake of fish rich in omega-3 fat, including salmon, is associated with decreased risk of numerous cardiovascular issues, including heart attack, stroke, heart arrhythmia, high blood pressure, and high triglycerides in the blood. The intake of omega-3 containing fish is also associated with improved metabolic markers for cardiovascular disease. Some cardiovascular benefits from omega-3 fat in fish like salmon start with only one omega-3 fish meal per week. And most of the benefits, however, start to show up in research studies with somewhat higher fish intake along the lines of 2 to 3 times a week. And in most studies, one serving of fish is approximately about 6 ounces. Studies of fish intake and cardiovascular risk sometimes measure benefits against the total grams of omega-3 fats, which is required for measurable cardiovascular protection. The big thing I love about it is the improved mood and cognition. So when you think about your mood going up and down, having highs and lows, are people that are stable, and then also the way you remember things. Okay, so the way that you think, you can really keep a high mental ability with whatever you're dealing with. That makes a difference as well. So your intake of omega-3s and omega-3 containing fish is associated with decreased risk of depression, a decreased risk of hostility in some teenagers, and they're also showing this with a decreased risk of cognitive decline in older persons. So especially interesting in this area of fish intake, DHA and brain function in the relatively recent discovery of what we call protectins. Fascinating name. So protectins are special compounds made from DHA, and preliminary research studies have shown them to be a potentially important role as anti-inflammatory regulatory molecules, especially when produced by nerve tissue. So very important to see that. So researchers have speculated that at least some of the brain-related benefits from omega-3 fish can be due to conversion of DHA in that. Now, here's what's interesting. So people say, if I take omega-3 oils, like if I take cod liver oil, is it going to help my joints? And just by eating salmon every day, the answer is yes. So because omega-3 fish have so much research behind them, they have strong amounts of EPA that make a difference. The second type that's very important, it cuts down the inflammation. That's the DHA. What's interesting about the salmon, though, is it combines anti-inflammatory benefits that are related to the omega-3 content with anti-inflammatory benefits that are related to fat but not to protein. So it's really important. You're getting probably in about an 8-ounce piece of salmon, probably about a good 15, 20 grams of the omega-3 fats, which the body readily absorbs, so it uses it. See, a lot of times if you do the vegan sources of omega-3s, like for example, squash has omega-3s in it, okay? But it's got what's called alpha-linoleic acid. It's the same thing in flaxseed. And you could do flax oil. There's a new one out called cauliflower oil, which is actually amazing, really is good. But see, it converts in the liver. And the challenge is that everybody converts it differently. So there's really no variable to say, okay, well, you're going to convert 80% of that into an omega-3, and you're going to convert 20% of it into an omega-3. There's just no way to. We don't know that. So it's kind of a a gamble, if you will. But the better thing to understand and realize is that one of the keys we have to look at, and this is super important, but one of the keys we have to look at is in a situation like omega-3s is making sure you're getting enough consistently. That's the big key. Now, it's the eye benefits, and that's why just to go back to that, that's why I like doing fish every day. And people get worried about the mercury and all that, but I get worried and concerned that we're not getting enough of the omega-3s. We're not doing enough to support our cholesterol levels and keep our hormones high the way they need to be, no matter what your age is. Because when hormones are working well, you're working well. I mean, if not, just let your hormones get out of whack and see how your life is going. I mean, it really does throw a wrench and everything. And omega-3s are one of the main foundations for that. Eye benefits are really good too. So the omega-3 intake and consumption of omega-3 fish has been associated with decreased risk of two major eye-related conditions: macular degeneration, or we call it age-related macular degeneration, and chronic dry eye. In the case of macular degeneration, what happens is the retina, which is the back of the eyeball, begins to deteriorate and causes loss of vision. 2 fish servings per week in the amount that's been shown to significantly decrease risk. For the decreased risk of chronic eye, somewhat higher amount of omega-3 fish, 2 to 4 servings a week was the minimum amount needed, with about 5 to 6 weekly servings showing even greater reduction of risk. Now, the brain studies on omega-3 fish intake, dry eye studies have started to look specifically at protectins from DHA in salmon and other omega-3 fish. Pretty amazing. Decreased cancer risk. Here's another one. So the increased risk of fish and omega-3 is also associated with decreased risk for several types of cancer. These cancer types include colorectal cancer, prostate cancer, and even breast cancer. Now, they've done some studies, which is pretty amazing. We're talking about salmon and how powerful it is as an omega-3 fat. You're listening to On Call Radio, by the way, right here on the InShape Network. Give us a call. I'm going to take your calls in just a moment. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. So glad you tuned in. Food is our best medicine in so many different ways. And food, as I always say, can bring health to the body, or it can take health out of the body. So our choices really do matter. So we're talking about that, and there's benefits to the protein and amino acid content that's in salmon as well. One of the biggest that we see is it's very supportive and creates a healing mechanism against a lot of the digestive-related conditions. So inflammatory bowel or irritable bowel. And then also we see things like ulcerative colitis and Crohn's. So it's got a lot of protective measures against that. And there's a lot of benefits to the selenium. See, selenium is essential when you're taking omega-3s. If you don't get enough selenium, there's a major issue with lack of selenium or a deficiency in selenium and inflammation in the gut. So if you get inflammation in the gut or inflammation in the body, typically you're not getting enough selenium. And there's some strong links of a selenium deficiency to colorectal cancer. So just a couple of things to think about. Putting those together can really make a difference. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Give us a call or go to the website. You go to InShapeNetwork.com. Let's go to Laura. Hi, Laura.
I'd like to know what the advantage or disadvantage is of a cleated supplement.
Well, here's the thing with supplements. One of my favorites, and I'm pretty solid on this. I like vegetable capsules for a delivery method. It's one of my favorites. And supplements come in liquid. They come in hard capsules, or hard caplets rather. And the coated caplets, typically, some absorb okay. It just depends. I really like the capsules that are my favorites. And the supplements that you always need to focus on, so the basics, we call them the foundational four. And the foundational four really give you a little bit of everything that you need. And that's a good whole food multivitamin that gives you all the different vitamins and minerals. And then a good digestive enzyme helps you break down the foods that you're eating on a regular basis. Because what happens is we don't have the enzymes in our foods that we used to have. The soil now is so depleted that we just don't have what we used to. And so that becomes a little bit of a challenge. So we want to make sure we're getting enough of that. And that's why the enzymes help you break down about 80 to 90% of the food you're eating versus about 20 or 30%. Then we've got good probiotics with good bacteria back in the digestive tract, right? And that helps for better immune system, better elimination, and then your fish oil. So the fish oil is a big one, really big one. We just talked about omega-3 oil, which is I'm just a huge fan of. I personally like cod liver oil. You can do the vegan versions of that, but cod liver oil I am a big fan of. Tablespoon a day for adults, teaspoon for kids, and it just works wonders. Really does. But yeah, supplements are important. Delivery method is very important, and quality does matter. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Lines are open. Give us a call. We're going to jump in and grab more of your calls when we come back, plus social media. If you haven't jumped in and sent us something on Facebook or Twitter, you should. Send us something. We'll make it part of the show. And also our daily television show is on. Go to InShape Network. You can see it there. And our lifestyle providers always available. We'll be right back. Did you know that you can listen to the Asa Rx audio experience on Spotify and Pandora? For all the ways to watch and listen, check out our show page at asarx.com/experience. Open questions about your health, give us a call or go to the website. Go to InShapeNetwork.com. We're here for you each and every day to help you, encourage you, and equip you to get the help that you need. So many times we struggle, I think, with our health, whether it's losing weight or feeling better, having more energy, or maybe just been diagnosed with several different things and you just don't know what to do. Well, just realize that the body can transition and it can really restore if you give it what it needs. So many times it comes down to our daily lifestyle habits. We had an email that came in from Alpha Brain, and Alpha Brain, if you haven't checked it out, you go to Onnit. The name of the company is Onnit, Go to onnit.com/InShape, and you can check it out there. But it's a completely natural product. It's like a multivitamin for the brain. Go to onnit.com/InShape and check it out. Pretty amazing. So I use memory, cognition, better sleep patterns. It's pretty amazing. Here's a key. It helps you dream. And one of the telltale signs you're getting good sleep, good deep sleep, is if you're dreaming. If you're dreaming, you're sleeping well. If you're not so good. You're not getting into that deep stage that you need. But the email is James in Boston. He says, I just had some blood work done, and it looks like I have high cholesterol levels and high triglycerides. I don't eat a lot of fatty foods, so I'm a little stumped as to what's going on. There's genetic factors in that, James, but one of the keys you have to look at, especially when you're talking about cholesterol levels, is you want to make sure, and I mean no matter what, is that your diet is right. And I know you're saying, well, I don't eat a lot of fatty foods, but you kind of do need to eat fatty foods if you want to have good cholesterol levels. I mean, you want to have healthy fats, almonds, walnuts, cashews, avocados. You don't have a lot of saturated fat except coconut oil. So you don't want to do a lot of that, but you definitely want to eat the right kinds. That makes a difference. So again, I would look overall and make sure you're getting enough fat in each day. Okay. Count your avocados, your fish oils, and make sure you're getting enough of that to really make an impact in your health. Because if you're not, that can definitely make a difference. And I've even seen people have too low of a cholesterol. That's actually something that can happen. So cholesterol can actually get too low, and it can start affecting hormone levels. It can start affecting energy levels, and it can just make a big difference. So again, eating more fats can make a big difference. And cutting out the sugars, that's going to help cut down the triglycerides. So your triglycerides, I want you to think of like triglycerides. Basically, they're when you eat a lot of processed carbohydrates, it almost forms a glue-like substance. It mixes with the fats and can form a glue-like substance inside the arteries. And that's where a lot of the plaquing comes from. And that's where you have to be careful, because the plaquing is definitely something that's quite challenging that you have to be a little bit cautious with. And definitely keep that in mind. But if you do vitamin B5, which is pantothenic acid, it can cut down on the triglycerides as well. So again, there's just some help. And you get B5 out of things like red peppers. A lot of the fruits and vegetables contain B5. So if you're not getting fruits and vegetables on a regular basis, yes, that can make a difference. 888-283-7272. You're listening to On Call Radio right here on the InShape Network. Let's go to Carol. Hi, Carol.
I am calling about, I have an issue with progesterone. So I, for a while now, have had really low blood levels and problems around day 18 to 21 of my cycle, when the progesterone should actually be the highest, and it's like it measures below the scale. My theory is that having the progesterone shot, the birth control shot, in the late 90s when it was new, has affected my ability to produce progesterone. I'm just curious if you guys have any ideas about how to bolster and protect and get more progesterone at that time. I'm 36, so a lot of the doctors don't. They're like, well, you're not, going through menopause, so we can't really help you. So just curious.
Frustrating, isn't it? Yeah. I know it's one of those deals. Progesterone, and you're still really young, so definitely don't buy into the fact that I know you're not in menopause, but you're still not, some old lady either, right? So your body's still producing it for sure. And a lot of times there's just barriers that happens, and our food supply can be a big marker for that. So if you're eating a lot of processed foods, and you're eating a lot of foods that maybe that are not hormone free, so if you're doing a lot of maybe poultry, chicken, if you're doing a lot of foods that maybe are not organic, that contain a lot of GMOs, those can start affecting and playing around with some of those areas. And I'll tell you, personal care products are a big area. So a lot of the chemicals we put on our skin, right, like detergents, lotions, the Environmental Working Group, you can check it out. It's a government agency. I mean, they post all this stuff on their website. I mean, they give all the warnings and everything else. It's amazing. It's not like anybody's hiding anything. They really lay it out. There's over 400 chemicals that are in a lot of our different personal care products. And many of them have potentially caused cancer, or they have the ability to in high doses, right? So there's supposedly safe amounts in a lot of our personal care products. But there's a big one that is called an endocrine disruptor. And basically, when you put a lot of certain chemicals on the skin, right, 75% of what goes on the skin goes into the bloodstream, potentially that can start causing some issues. And that's been some theories that are out there that, again, that is not completely evidence-based on the medical side, but definitely some theories of what can be causing some of the issues with hormones. Now, I'll tell you another one, too, is if your diet is not right, if you're not getting enough fats in your diet, about 30 to 35% of your diet in healthy fats, that'll cause a big issue as well. So wild yam root is something to look into and do some research on, plus get some nutritional deficiency-based blood work done to check it all out. Puts another hour in the charts. I want to thank our producer, Jay Patrick, engineer John Garrison, and the rest of the team. Go tell one person something you learned on the show. Together, we can transform the health of our friends, our families, and our communities. You're listening to the show that helps you get well, stay well, and live well, where we're diagnosing hope one person at a time.
Did you know you can listen to the Asa Rx audio experience on Spotify and Pandora? For all the ways to watch and listen, check out our show page at asarx.com/experience.
Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to asarx.com and get your free book today.
This episode is over, but check episode notes for links to products and services you've heard about on this episode. Thanks for listening and subscribing. Please share the Asa Rx audio experience with others and stay in touch by giving us your comment or review.
Hi, this is Asa, and welcome to my audio experience. Remember, if the body can get sick, it can also get well. Lifestyle is your medicine. Let anybody tell you anything different? The choices that you make every single day, okay, the food you eat, the water you drink, the sleep that you get, the rest you get, the exercise you get, the activity you get or don't get, sitting in the chair or deciding to take a walk, standing a little bit at your desk, or deciding to sit all day. Those are your choices. And I'll tell you this, no one, which is the great part about it, no one can take responsibility for your health but you. You have to be the one every single day that steps up and say, you know what, I'm going to eat this and not that. I'm going to exercise 15 minutes rather than sleeping in. I'm going to take the stairs, the elevator. I'm going to stop circling the parking lot to find the one slot right by the front door. I mean, really? Do you see the people that do that, really? Versus just parking on the other side of the parking lot and maybe take an extra walk. Who cares if it's raining? Get an umbrella. I mean, make the choices. It comes down to the choices you're making every single day. Let's jump on the phones and go to Nancy. Hi, Nancy.
I'm calling about my sister who's struggling with chronic pericarditis. Looking for some answers. She's been to the doctor, been diagnosed, but it keeps reoccurring every 3 to 4 weeks.
Right. So when you're dealing with something like pericarditis, something that you really want to look at, and it's something that's fairly simple because it's an itis. Remember that. Okay. So the origins of a lot of these conditions, although they have some specific areas you have to work on, they have a root condition. When you have an itis, and that pericarditis, of course, has to do with the heart. It's serious. And there's several things that need to happen around that. But one core move you could make with her, and even as long as the doctors are working with her and doing what they do, is look at what she's doing every single day, her eating habits. Because inflammation always starts in the digestive tract, always. It's not just random. Inflammation will happen if you get an injury or if the body thinks there is an injury. That can happen too. But you've always got to look at the inflammatory process, why it happens, why it's there, and what you can do about it. And many times, if you at least, it's not every time, it's not a correct-all, but if you start with the eating, okay, as far as her eating habits, dietary habits, getting rid of a lot of the inflammatory-based foods like wheat products, dairy products, and yes, they do cause inflammation for a lot of people. And it's not forever, but at least for about 8 weeks. Cut that out for a period of time. See how our body responds. That's one of the first things. Now, am I saying that's going to get rid of pericarditis? I'm not saying that's a direct correlation. I'm just saying this. It's an itis, and anytime you have an itis, which means inflammation of whatever area, like arthritis means inflammation of the joint, then it's a good first move, first step in helping the body fight, helping the body figure out what's going on, and helping the body get back to where it needs to be. So pericarditis, there's several other factors that need to happen, and that's why your physician or her physician needs to work with her on this, because it's a big deal. She's got to be closely monitored. But the question is, what can you be doing at home, and what can she be doing on the day-to-day? And with pericarditis, it makes a big, big difference. Now, if they don't already have you on things like CoQ10, that's something important to look at. Also, berberine is really, really good. And don't forget, high levels of omega-3 fatty acids, which will come from, my favorite is cod liver oil. You get some of the best absorption, in my opinion. It's high in natural occurring vitamin A and vitamin D, which helps the absorption of cod liver oil into the cells. So it's just, in my opinion, a better natural option in as far as supplementation to get omega-3s. Better way to go. But nonetheless, that can be helpful with pericarditis. Okay. And don't forget the B vitamins either. That's just kind of a given. But because only 1% of Americans actually eat vegetables, which is staggering to me, then sometimes the B vitamins are pretty important, because it's kind of like B vitamins are kind of like the multivitamin for the heart. So it's one thing to look at for sure, to make sure that she's getting everything that she needs. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Lines are open with questions about your health. Now, if you haven't found a local provider in your area that believes the same way we do, then check us out. Go to the website, go to asarx.com. That's asarx.com. And you can find there providers in your area. We can help you find in your area that really follow our same principles. And also, if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, I encourage you to do that. Like, go to your favorite platform or just go to the website. We've got a whole sign-up section there. Go to the website. You can find it. Subscribe. Doesn't matter if it's iHeart, iTunes, Google, whatever. We've got our platform, Asa Rx Experience, is on every platform, and I encourage you to get it. It's out every single day, 5 days a week, and it's a condensed way to hear. We've got new content on there as well, but it's a great way to pick up tips that is on the show every day, but instead of a 3-hour format, it's in a 36-minute format. So it's that bite size that you're probably looking for many times, especially if you've got a short time in your drive to work or time with the kids, or you want to listen to it while you're jogging, which is a great thing. It's a great way to get the motivation that you need to push everything with your health, to learn something new, and to be able to apply it. And so that's just people have been raving about it. So go check out our website, go to asarx.com, click on podcast or show. You can find it on either page, and then go there and subscribe to it. Right? It's been doing great, and we just really want to have you have that piece in your pocket whenever you want it, on demand, just for you. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. So we've always heard that fat is bad, right? And I would argue with that, because now science is out that dietary fat we eat, is actually good for us. And yes, that includes saturated fat. So there's an idea, and it's really become more than a theory. It's proven that we need a blend of different kinds of fats in our diet. Matter of fact, if you just went to the extreme and said, I'm only going to eat omega-3 fatty acids, right? Like that's the only fat I'm going to eat, which is impossible, because fat's in just about everything that we eat in different varieties. But you have to have about 20% of your diet, of your fat intake, okay? So if you had 100% of your fat intake was 100%, then about 20% of that fat intake needs to be saturated fat, which we've been told what? Causes heart attacks, clogs the arteries. You've got to have the right kind of fat. So you want to do saturated fats. You want to do what we call monounsaturated fats. And you want to get your fatty acids, your omega-3, 6s, and 9s. Now, monounsaturated fats you get from like olive oil, you get from avocados, olives, of course, and those kind of fats will bring those, and they're good. Omega-3 fats you'll get mostly from fish, wild caught, obviously, it's one of the best choices. And you can even get it from squash, but it's in a very, very small amount. Flaxseed oil is okay, people love that, but you only get about 15% absorption from flaxseed oil for the omega-3s. That's why it's not my favorite. But you want to get a good blend of fat. So fat is good for you, but you want to get it in the right ratios. That's why getting your fatty acid levels checked on a regular basis is a huge key component to balancing everything out and really keeping on top of things with your health. We'll be right back. Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to asarx.com and get your free book today.
To find out more, connect with On Call Radio online at InShapeNetwork.com.
Welcome back to the show, 888-283-7272. This 888-283-7272. So glad you're with us. Check us out on the web. Go to asarx.com. That's asarx.com. I'm Asa, with you here each and every day to coach you, push you, and get you to that next level. That's what we want to see. That's why we're here. That's why the show's taking the nation by storm, 300 plus cities, and growing every single day. That's why we do what we do, so we can make an impact in your health and your life. That's what we want to see more than anything. So talking about fat and how fat is actually good for you, when we thought for so long it's not good for you, it's really important to understand that getting enough fat in your daily routine, and depending on your body weight, you want to get in a certain amount. So for the average person, usually about 75 grams a day, depending on your body weight, is a good number of grams of fat. You're thinking, man, that's a lot. Not really. It's really not. And you have to have it. So fat's important for your skin, hair, and nails. Fat is important for your hormones. Fat's important for your cardiovascular health. Fat is important for your brain health, okay, your brain chemistry, for your brain to function the way that it needs to. It needs fats, okay? Fat's important for your immune system, okay? Fat's important for so many areas of your life, and that's why we need it. That's why when you get too low in fat, it becomes an issue. So I just want to encourage you to make sure to get a good balance and ratio of fats in your diet, along with your proteins and your carbohydrates. But I talk a lot about that in my book, okay? And if you haven't checked out our book, I'm giving my book away right now. So if you go to myfreehealthbook.com, giving it to you as a gift right now, during everything that our country is going through, you go to myfreehealthbook.com and you can get your free copy. You just got to cover the shipping and handling. That's it. That's all I ask. I'll give you the book. You pay to get it there. No big deal. So scientists are discovering something about fat that I want to talk to you about in a minute. But first, I want to get on the phone and go to Fred. Hi, Fred.
Hi, I would like to know if a body has to have a certain amount of sugar are you supposed to have a certain amount of sugar in your diet, or can a body live without having sugar in your diet, just basically being sugar-free except for maybe what's in a fruit or something along them lines?
That's a great question. So there's a lot of talk right now, in theory right now, in the keto diet, okay, which is just a repackaging of the Atkins diet from the days old. None of these things are new. It's just marketing, okay? Like there's nothing new under the sun with that. So when you talk about a keto diet, which removes all carbohydrates except for like maybe 50 grams tops, if that, and it puts your body into a state called ketosis where it runs on fat instead of sugar, then, that's a whole different animal. But you never completely eliminate sugars. Sugars are in foods. Even proteins contain, like a piece of chicken, still has a certain amount, even if it's 1 gram or half a gram of sugar, still has it in there. So you're never going to completely get away from it. And any carbohydrate, okay, it doesn't matter from a vegetable to a fruit to a potato to a bean to a piece of bread, all grains, those are all, any carbohydrate is a sugar. So it doesn't have to be like table sugar and candy to be considered sugar. If it's a carbohydrate, if it's in those categories I just mentioned to you, then it is a sugar. The body converts that to glucose and glycogen, okay, which is sugar. And there's different types of sugar, like fruit has what's called fructose in it. And it does different things in the body than, say, glucose. Glucose is what is turned into, like a starch, will turn into glucose. Like you eat a potato, goes into the body, turns into glucose, and then your body puts it and stores it, either uses it for energy or stores it as what we call glycogen, and it'll store it in the muscle, or it can be stored and converted into fat. The carbs that we don't use, the sugars that we don't use, get converted into fat, and that's what everybody gets freaked out about and tries to avoid and all that. So sugar, when you say it like that, you're going to get it in your foods. And do I think you need to go sugar-free? Well, no, because that means you're going vegetable-free, and you're going brown rice-free, and you're going sweet potato-free, and all of that. And I don't think that's good. I think the balance is the key for the body. That's why I'm not a huge fan of like keto and all that. It's, people say all day long, oh, that's the best. But the body's designed for balance. I mean, if you're wanting to do anything that's a little different, and I like the idea of intermittent fasting from a science standpoint than just about any of them. Now, in what we teach with the anti-inflammatory diet, and then of course in our clinical side of things, we teach that, the balance. And so we've got a consistent eating program based on your goals. I mean, whatever your body needs, but we've got a consistent eating type system that works mainly on cutting out inflammation and getting the body to a point where it really functions at a better level. And it does include a partial day fast, which is what intermittent fasting is. You eat every day, but you just fast for a certain amount of hours. So it could be fast 16 hours and you eat in an 8-hour window. Some people modify it and do a 14-hour fast and eating in a 10-hour window. Like, there's different ways of doing that. But that is good. It's got health benefits, definitely, that we've learned that can play a big role. So for sure you can look in those kind of options, but to cut sugar out completely, I don't think it's wise. You got too many things in the body that need it. And I don't care what they say. Yes, there is a process in the body, okay? If you don't have enough sugar, like when you're in ketosis, the body turns into it does a process called gluconeogenesis. And basically, which is interesting though, because you got to think, why did God set up in the body this thing called gluconeogenesis? What that is basically the body gets to a place where if it doesn't have sugar, it will take fat and convert it into sugar. So it has some sugar to use, basically. Or it can use glycogen, okay? So you got to ask yourself the question, okay? If the body runs on sugars, right, with vegetables, let's just say that, for example. I mean, table sugar and all that is garbage. Like that, the body was never designed for that. You're never going to get good health on that approach. But if the body was designed to have sugars in it, and then there's a backup mechanism in case sugar's not available, that's the backup mechanism. That's not the primary mechanism. So if it's the backup mechanism, and again, God's always going to give us a plan B, but still, the primary mechanism is to run off of carbohydrate and sugar. Now, balance is always the key. Are you ready to chow? It's time for Keto Chow. When it comes to eating healthy, the keto diet has become one of the nutrition leaders in optimizing health, losing unwanted weight, and reaching your health and wellness goals. No extravagant cooking, no long kitchen cleanup, and most importantly, especially for me, it's convenient. Just put quality Keto Chow powder in a bottle, add some heavy whipping cream or your favorite fat, a little water, and boom, shake it up and you're ready to chow. Keto Chow tastes amazing. So make Keto Chow easy for you and your family today with Keto Chow. Let's go chow. Visit Keto Chow online at ketochow.xyz. That's ketochow.xyz.
To find out more, visit the show online, InShapeNetwork.com.
Welcome back to the show, 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. So glad you're with us. Visit us online, asarx.com. That's asarx.com. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast, you should. It's something you can take with you every single day, and it's on your favorite platforms. You go to a platform anywhere and look up Asa Rx Experience, you are going to find us. And, of course, it's out every single day. Join us. You can subscribe. You'll get it. It's a great way. You're in the kitchen, middle of the day doing something. Hey, you can learn something, get motivated, get encouraged. If you want to take a walk and if you're in your car or if you're going to bed at night, whatever it is, it's a great time to be able to listen to it on your time when you want and how you want. That's the cool thing about it. Love how all this is going that direction so you can do a lot more things on your time, which will keep you more consistent, too, getting the information and the content that you need. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Lines are open. Give us a call or go to that website, asarx.com. Now, talking about fat, and there's good fat and there's bad fat, right? Well, the only bad fat really is the fat that's around your waistline on your body. And there's two types of fat that actually sticks to our body, if you will. We have fat cells, right? And they expand. That's what happens. It's not like you typically get more fat cells. You've got fat cells, but they either expand or they contract. And when they expand, there's what's called white fat. And the white fat is the one that can be pretty tough on your system. I mean, that's the one that can cause a lot of the disease-related or health challenge-related obesity. But now what they found is that brown fat is actually a fat in the body that's on our body, but it actually helps to increase metabolic rate. So the brown fat is calorie burning, okay? And so the goal has always been in the research, and they've done some of this at the University of Texas, is to figure out how to turn the white fat into the brown fat. Because if you have more of the brown fat, then you can burn more fat and increase your overall metabolic rate, which will help burn calories in the body. So studies have shown that when brown fat is switched on, like turned on, it increases metabolism and lowers blood sugar levels. So like it creates an anti-diabetes environment. Pretty amazing. But the study found that white fat can be turned into brown fat, but only after severe and prolonged adrenaline-releasing stress. So that can either come from extreme physical activity that athletes do, and that's why the constant physical activity and cardio sessions and long cardio and running and doing all this, that increases an adrenaline form of stress to the body. And the more you do that over and over again, the more it switches on the brown fat to burn off the white fat. This all the study that I'm talking about was in the Journal of Cell Metabolism. It's a medical journal. So the goal here, though, is they said the ultimate goal is the concept that the browning they call it, of the white fat. If they can, the more we can create that, the more you're going to reduce overall body fat, and the more you're going to increase metabolic rate, which means the body can sit there at rest and burn more calories, or as many calories as it would if you were exercising. They said that's kind of the magic bullet that they're trying to figure out. The only thing is, unless you do just massive amounts of physical activity, then they have to get the body to think that it's, because the only other thing that is non-physical related that would increase that level of adrenaline type stress to the body would be if you got burned. So if you had whole body burns, because that's, the skin's your largest organ, but because you'd have whole body burns, the body would be in a constant state of adrenaline stress to try to heal that. And that's the only thing they have found that is enough stress to the body continually to start browning that white fat. So obviously that's not a good thing for your body to be burned. So they're trying to figure out a way they can mimic that in what kind of environment. So that's the study that's going on for that. But fat, I guess my whole point is fat's not bad for you. Dietary fat's good for you. You don't want to carry a lot of the white fat. That's the dangerous kind of fat that you have to be careful with. And that's why reducing your overall body fat as much as possible is one of your number one goals, and should be. And that'll increase overall health in every area and can make a big difference. All right. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. You're listening to Asa Rx. You got to give us a call or go to asarx.com. Janet in Birmingham, Alabama said, I just tested positive for COVID. Now I'm scared and I don't know what to do. So let me give you a couple of thoughts on that. Okay. So COVID-19 is obviously something that people are concerned about and should be. And if you get tested positive, but you don't have any symptoms, what should you do? Well, I would always just follow the guidelines that they've set for that. Okay. Because you want to take care of yourself, even if you don't have any symptoms. You want to be cautious with others. That's always a key. And you take the precautionary methods and, wear the mask and put yourself into a safe spot. So all of that. But, again, if you were symptomatic or did have the symptoms, I know people get scared and there's a lot of talk about death and whatnot. But just be encouraged that, it's one of those things where your body has a really strong immune system, and some people are in a compromised immune state, and that's where it can be a challenge. But it's not just the COVID-19 that can do that. A really bad flu can do that. A pneumonia can do that. Any infection of any kind can be harmful to the body if you're in an immune compromised state. So it's one of those things where it's good that you got tested, and it's good that for those around you and for yourself to be able to take the right precautions. But just focus on keeping your immune system strong. That's what you can do. Take the precautions that we know have been set out in the guidelines around this kind of this crisis, and for yourself to keep yourself healthy, protect others, but keep your internal environment strong. And those are things like eating the right kind of foods on a regular basis, drinking plenty of water, staying off of, a lot of the sugary drinks, the processed sugars that you just know. It's not one of those things that you don't have a clue about, staying off of sodas with high fructose corn syrup and processed fruit juices. And, I would steer clear of those kind of things. Drink plenty of water. Lemon water is fantastic. And eating multiple times a day, plenty of vegetables and fruits, and really building your immune system up. There's supplements that are good for that. We've proven that things like vitamin C and zinc. Zinc has been shown with any viral infection to be extremely powerful. So zinc is another good one. And then, of course, you've got iodine. Most people don't talk about iodine, but nascent iodine, provided you're not allergic to anything like that or shellfish, is really helpful. It builds the immune system. So look at those type of things to really strengthen your body, and that's the biggest key. The number one key in this is don't freak out, don't panic. We've got enough information now through all of this that you can keep yourself in a good place. Your body can fight if you were to get to symptoms. You know, for the most part, I mean, we have cases. I mean, obviously, you see the numbers. There are people that are really struggling, and there are people that have died, and it's very sad. The greatest thing you can do for yourself, though, when you're in a situation like this, though, is stay strong mentally and do the best you can to protect you and yourself and others around you, and keep your immune system strong. Like, your choices matter. That's one of the biggest ones. That's what you have to focus on more than anything, is making good choices every single day for your health. Not just for a situation like this, but for anything, whether it's high blood pressure, diabetes, whatever it might be, is making better choices. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. My name's Asa. Check us out, asarx.com. Let's go to Ed. Hi, Ed.
I've had 3 broken hips, and my last one was in September, so it's coming up, it'll be almost a year. But I never got operated on this time. I don't know if I probably don't have enough bone or something to operate on. Basically, I'd like to know if there's some way I could exercise, because I can hardly walk. I got to use a walker. How the heck, and I'm an old guy, I'm 73. Is there any sense me even trying to do anything?
Yeah, I mean, one thing you can do, and this is important. I mean, I would go get it looked at, definitely, again, by your physician, and have them take a look at it. But I mean, at this point, you really want to do everything internally that you can to get the body to heal better. Now, there are some therapies like laser therapy that can be helpful. But right now, at this point, it's going to be what you're doing internally. The question is, why did this happen over and over, right? So that's really the question you want to get answered and want to get solved. The question is, what is going on with that? So if your bones are to a point where that can happen easily, then you've got a major nutritional issue going on in the body. And it's not just drink more milk. I mean, you've got a massive issue with bone stability and strength. And that can come from not doing weight-bearing exercise. It can come from not having the right nutrition, not having good calcium absorption, not having enough vitamin D over the years. Like, all that is extremely important. So you have to look at, in a way, you have to look at your overall eating strategy, because your lifestyle choices in a situation like this are going to be really important. So I would look at your vitamin D levels. If they haven't been checked, get those checked. Also, vitamin K is extremely important for the absorption rate of vitamin D3. So those two are going to go hand in hand. And then, get with your doctors and make sure that there's no major issues because of those breaks that will keep you moving forward. Okay, that's where I would start. And then you can keep me posted. Send me an email or call back here on the show. Did you know that you can listen to the Asa Rx audio experience on Spotify and Pandora? For all the ways to watch and listen, check out our show page at asarx.com/experience.
Connect with On Call Radio and watch On Call TV at InShapeNetwork.com.
Welcome back to the show, 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Give us a call or go to the website, go to asarx.com. We're here for you each and every day to go to your next level with your health and with your life. It's all about reaching your potential. I want to see you become the best version of yourself. And that only comes with new choices. Now, the cool thing about that is that it doesn't matter about the choices you made yesterday or last week or a year from ago. It doesn't matter. Because the choices you're making right now, those are the ones that matter. We all mess up. We all make choices that we shouldn't. The good thing is, if you make decisions, I applaud you for that. Most people get in this place of can't make a decision for anything. You ever been around those people? It's like you got to make a decision and move. And then if it's the wrong one, you go make a new one. If it was the right one, then you made a great one and you keep moving through that one. So we want to help you make great decisions with your health. And the choices you make right now, that matters. And that's going to determine everything that you have in every area of your life. And health is, remember, strong mind, strong body, strong life. It goes in that order. Your mind's got to be strong, which will in turn give you make good choices to make your body strong. And if your body's strong, your mind's strong, you're going to have a great life. So on this show, we want to help you do that. All right. Now I want to talk about diabetes for just a moment. Diabetes is probably one of, outside of cancer and, heart disease, diabetes would be right there. So it's part of the big three, as I call it. They call it the big two. I call it the big three. But diabetes is it's massive, and it's growing at scale in a big way. So there's 7 must-dos you have to do. I want to talk about 2 to kind of help with diabetes. Number 1 is really don't focus on per se diets. Okay, I want you to focus on more of the components of how you eat and creating an eating lifestyle. Okay, so with diabetes, you want to eat multiple times throughout the day. That's a given. All right, so every 2 to 3 hours, you should be having a meal. And you're saying, well, that's a lot. I hear people whine to me all the time. I can't eat all the time like that. That's just too hard. No, diabetes is hard, okay? Getting your leg amputated because of diabetes, that's hard. Taking insulin the rest of your life, that's hard, okay? Getting neuropathy where your hands hurt nonstop because of the nerve damage from the blood sugar, that is hard. Eating multiple times throughout the day, that's not hard. Like, stop wussing out and don't whine to me about any of that, okay? Because here's the thing about diabetes. Just realize this. You got yourself into it. Like, let's just be honest, okay? Let's cut to the chase. People don't like it when you say that. They're like, well, no, it's because my grandma had it. My grandpa had it. No, it's because you did it to yourself. Type 1 is the only free pass you get because it's genetic and it's autoimmune. Like, that's the only one I'll give you where I won't push on you. Type 2, 100% you did it to yourself. It's proven. It's in the science. So no one can ever tell me different. We know that. It's completely lifestyle related. Not one type 2 person that has type 2 diabetes. If you say, do you eat amazing and exercise your whole life? They go, well, yeah. No, every one of them is like, well, no, I really ate horrible. Yeah, every one of them. They know. And it's the number 3, roughly, largest global health challenge that we have. And in some countries, it's number 1. So I want you to say bye-bye to the thought of a diet and doing something short-term. It needs to be an eating lifestyle, okay? Now, number 2 is eating the right kind of fat. Fat is important. So for so long, you've been told that carbohydrates are the best. Don't eat fat, go fat-free, right? And you do all these fat-free products, and then the fat-free products are loaded with sugar, which leads more toward diabetes. So you always want to eat fat. Minimum 0.3 times your body weight in grams of fat a day would be the bare minimum. Okay, so if you're trying to figure out how many fat grams you need a day, and this is all kinds of fats, everything from healthy fats like almonds, walnuts, cashews, avocados, olive oil, to even some saturated fat that you would get in meat or real butter or coconut oil, because you've got to have the saturated fat for the omega-3s and all that to work and to absorb. So make sure you're getting fat in your diet. Okay, that helps to balance and stabilize blood sugar. Proteins and fats stabilize blood sugar. Avoid, and I mean like the plague, I want you to avoid all fat-free foods. If it says fat-free, diabetic-friendly, I want you to avoid all those foods, okay? Because they've got sugar alcohols, they've got, which cause stomach issues, they've got all kinds of just junk in them. Now, there's some organic ones and all, I get they're okay. But for the most deal, I mean, just avoid those. Now, the other one is to keep your body to a point where it heals and you don't go anywhere near the diabetes complications, okay? Like anything to do with the eyes, you don't want nerve damage, foot ulcers, can lead to heart disease, vision loss, I mean, the whole deal. So always focus on keeping low glycemic carbohydrates, okay? Those are the carbohydrates like fruits, vegetables, sweet potatoes, brown rice, those kind of carbohydrates along with lean quality protein and then a healthy fat like almonds or walnuts, cashews, something like that. If you eat all your meals like that, you're going to keep your blood sugars in check. And if you do that, it's virtually impossible to go toward all those complications. But you eat donuts and pizza and just all that junk all the time, yeah, you're going to head that direction, no doubt. Not even a question. You'll head that direction. Find an activity. I don't care what it is. You've got to move. Have to move. Read my lips, because you can see it on the radio here, right? You have to move. Like, that's not an option. 6 days a week, 15 minutes a day, you have to find something to do. If you can't move because of some kind of disability or whatever, find something you can move, okay? Get an exercise thing that works your shoulders. It's like a treadmill. Very cool. Do something, whatever you got to do. Keep track of all your medicine and supplements and stay on track with that. That's another good one. And know this, okay? This is like my final key. Know that you are the most important person in your whole medical team and your healthcare team. Like, we always highlight a doctor and think, oh, he or she's the best, she's the greatest, she healed me. No, you are the greatest member of your health team. Like, nobody's going to do any of this better for you than you. Like, you have to be the best member and leader of your team to move this thing down the road. Because all these people give you advice, but you have to get up every day and put in the work. You've got to exercise. You've got to eat right. You've got to sleep. You've got to avoid stress. Like, you have to put in the work. But it's another hour in the charts. I want to thank our producer, Lyle Valentine, Derek, Alan, John Garrison, and the rest of the team. Go tell one person something you learned on the show. Together, we can transform the health of our friends, our families, and our communities. You're listening to Asa Rx, the show that helps you reach your potential and become the best version of you.
Did you know you could listen to the Asa Rx audio experience on Spotify and Pandora? For all the ways to watch and listen, check out our show page at asarx.com/experience.
Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to asarx.com and get your free book today.
This episode is over, but check episode notes for links to products and services you've heard about on this episode. Thanks for listening and subscribing. Please share the Asa Rx audio experience with others and stay in touch by giving us your comment or review.